Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and today we're going to talk about the Venezuela Guyana issue, and it's going to probably go into some kind of conflict. You probably would have heard or read about it, though it's quite a big news regarding Venezuela, having some military ambition against Guyana. Now I'm going to go into extreme details. So it's not for the faint-hearted. I'll be going into some of the history in terms of why Venezuela, not the ancient history, but some history, why Venezuela is now motivated to annex part of Guyana, and then also the geopolitics that goes around Guyana and Venezuela, and it will blow your mind. So because it blew my mind, so yeah, I know you may want to stay with me. So it will be a bit dry, maybe. Okay, so first thing first, there was this referendum just happened a few days ago. Venezuela, basically, the Maduro, basically the dictator now, basically the so-called dictator of Venezuela, have put the entire question about whether to annex 2/3 of Guyana onto a referendum. And according to the result, it was voted to a wide margin to approve the annexation of this Guyana. And so the entire size is 2/3 of Guyana is quite crazy. If you look at the map, you can see this dotted line. Let me draw it for you to see. So, so this is Guyana. Okay, this is Guyana. You can see this. This is Venezuela. So this is Venezuela, and the part that they want to annex is this. This entire part, Venezuela wants it. And if they actually succeeded in annexing this entire area, Guyana is, might as well don't exist. To be honest, it becomes so tiny, and weird. It will look like a chili, and it will look just like, it's just like a very dry chili, So it's gonna be quite bad. And this is what Venezuela is going for. And the referendum is basically voted, and they actually asked 5 different questions, and apparently the electoral council announced that 95% of the voter voted yes to all 5 questions. And basically, to reject the 1899 arbitration that actually took away this entire region of the Essequibo, basically the part that they want to annex to Guyana. So they want to reject this or not, and then they want to do more thing. And basically it's not important. Basically they're just saying that they're going to annex the whole place. And however, this referendum is very weird because a lot of doubts has been raised, because it seems to be a very low turnout, but the official figure says half of the population actually turn up. But it could also be even more than 100% of the registered voters turning up to vote. However, as you can see in this photo, basically there isn't anyone. A lot of people say that there's hardly any people that came up to actually vote. So videos and reports coming out of Venezuela show extremely poor voter turnout. Even officers or election officers falling asleep at their polling places. So it's very, very unusual. So there is there's also other discrepancy, because there was like reportedly a number that is mathematically impossible due to the available number of voting centers and the time it takes for a person to vote. So whatever it is, even though the Associated Press, the AP, they go on tour and they see that the lines of 30 people could be seen, but there is naturally no lines. Basically, there's even in strongholds, there's actually no one really queuing for votes. So this is actually very disturbing. But of course, no, nothing surprising because it's a dictatorship right now. So, and the World Court, basically the ICJ, basically the International Court of Justice, has, before the referendum happened, already ordered that Venezuela and Guyana should not take any actions to change the status quo. So this is basically a ruling, and they say that everything, all these are already settled issue. There shouldn't be any dispute. There shouldn't be any actions to be taken to change any of these kind of things. And according to a Guyana press, they say that the ruling prohibits Guyana from entering any negotiations with Venezuela over the disputed territory. So neither party shall take actions that alters the current status of the territory in dispute. So basically, if you want to follow the ICJ, basically your hands are tied as well. So, and however, no, there is some discussion. They say that why is there this issue coming up? So I forgot I didn't wear a shirt. I wear a singlet. Let's go back to the other screen. So yeah. So why is there this problem that some say that the Maduro wanted to distract the population. They want to have a topic that they can unite the country over, which is to conquer another place. And then maybe the people will be more supportive. They can bind around the leader because they are going to war. However, things seems to be a bit more nuanced. So 2 years ago, there was ExxonMobil was working with Guyana. They has been trying to exploit and discover oil in their territory, and in fact, they have been discovering a lot of oil. And from this article from July 28, they found new discovery, and this new discovery is adding on to what they have already discovered, which is already 9 billion barrels of oil estimated. So this is already very a lot, 9 billion, and then they found more, and then guess what, they found even more. A year later, in 2022, April 27th, they found even more. They found three more locations, which estimate drive the total estimates to 11 billion barrels. And that means they already found 5 just in 2022. They just keep finding more and more oil, and ExxonMobil is really, really excited. And they say that the oil giant is now committed to deliver value for an accelerated pace for the people of Guyana. And it's crazy, the amount of oil that they have. So this is definitely going to bring attention to Venezuela, because if you look geopolitically, Venezuela have one of the world's largest oil reserve, and they are unable to untap it, because they're under severe sanction. And if Guyana have all this oil, then that would entrap Venezuela even further. So if they can take out this competition just next to them, it could be useful as well. This is just one of the nuance that could be possible. But however, this we also, okay, there's another thing to note, is that ExxonMobil is also American. It's an American company, so that it could be another thing that we need to consider. So the Americans are involved, and they are exploiting Guyana, and then they are also exploiting the oil. Not the country, they're exploiting the oil. Of course, they also exploit the country, but we don't say that. And it is a good alternative to Venezuela. And if let's say they go to war, Guyana basically have no chance. They have zero chance against Venezuela, because Guyana's army is merely 3,000 troops, 3,400 active military personnel. There's 3,000 from the army, 200 for the navy, 200 for the air force, and they don't have heavy weaponry. They don't have a air defense, comprehensive air defense system. They don't have a proper air force. Essentially, they are going to fight. They're going to head up against 123,000 military personnel from Venezuela, which includes 173 main battle tanks. So basically, there is no hope. This fight is basically one-sided. There is no way Guyana can win. So if you look from this perspective again, then you can see the motivation, because it's basically like Iraq versus Kuwait, in the first Gulf War in 1991, because this is just such an easy target to destroy. They can't even fight you. You can just basically march in and conquer the whole place in 3 days. Just like what Russia plans to do with Ukraine. But of course, so this is a serious disparity between the two sides. And to put into perspective how weak Guyana is, the population is merely 800,000 at most. So they have 800,000 people in terms of population. They can't compete definitely against Venezuela militarily. So this becomes a very attractive prospect for Venezuela, and as such, Brazil, basically sent in reinforcement to the border in case something happened. And according to the Jamaican Observer.com, basically Brazil has intensified their operations in the northern border. And then basically this is a statement that they sent to the AFP. And yeah, Brazil is in a very weird situation, because Brazil is actually sort of supports Maduro. They are kind of pro-Venezuela, but yet this is a very tricky situation, because Brazil do not like this kind of hostility. They don't like another country to invade another country. So if Venezuela go into military operations, then Brazil would not be able to continue this political or geopolitical relationship with Venezuela. So Brazil definitely don't like what they are seeing, and especially just near their border, they don't want chaos near to their own country. So that's one thing. Another thing about Guyana is that Guyana is a former British colony, and this actually prompted a call from one of the MP, Daniel, I can't read his name, I think this is a Polish word, Kozinski. So the Daniel Kozinski, basically the Shrewsbury MP, basically tabled a motion to urgently debate and discuss about the situation in Guyana and to protect Guyana. He says that the Guyana is a Commonwealth country, and the British have the duty and responsibility to help. And because they also do not recognize the Venezuela's dictator, and so definitely they do not recognize the referendum. So he talked about the 100 years ago. Now the border has already been settled, and then yeah, so and then now they are trying to steal the land, so-called steal the land, because there is the country has found large oil and gas reserve. So basically they urge British to act, and this would become Falklands number 2 for the British if they choose to act. So I'm not sure what the British could do, because the British have very limited military power and power projection capability right now. They do have new aircraft carriers that they do not have, I would say, during those days during the Falklands. They are very limited during the Falklands War. So now they have better projection capability, but to fight a major war against Venezuela, which is a ground war, because Falklands is an island, so it's the naval war, but a ground war would be very different. I'm not sure if the British can deal with this. And then the easy question would then to fall on the United States, right? You probably would think that, yeah, how about the United States? Wouldn't the United States help? Then I will put you to this. Just around 1.5 months ago, the United States actually eased sanction to Venezuela oil. So if you look at this article is by Reuters. So the Biden administration basically has already eased sanction to Venezuela, allowing So basically, this was described as the most extensive rollback of Trump-era restriction on Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela, and they gave a new general license issued by the U.S. Treasury Department and which authorized Venezuela to produce and export oil to its chosen markets for the next 6 months without limitations. Basically, a free pass for 6 months. And so, Anthony Blinken kind of rationalized this, saying that it's because Maduro have some electoral concessions. So this allows the United States to give him some leeway, and they also expected Maduro to lift bans on opposition presidential candidates and start releasing prisoners and wrongfully detained Americans, which is I wonder if it's a code word for agents or soldiers or special forces. I'm not so sure. So this is a thing, and this thing have progressed further. Just a few weeks ago, the Venezuelan crude oil has basically soared in pricing. So because Venezuelan oil is heavily discounted because they are they are pariah oil, people cannot buy it, and because of Biden's lifting of restriction, the discount has been reducing from 30% discount to now 13% discount, and so you just to have some figure how much is that. The Venezuelan oil is sold at $65 per barrel for those going to Europe and 64 for those going to Asia, and the market rate is actually $16 to $17 more expensive than this, which makes it to $80. So it's that means the market price is around $80 per barrel, and then they are selling at 65 to 64. And Russian oil basically is also selling at 80. They are supposed to sell below 60 because of the there's a sanction, right? The Europeans wanted to cap at 60, but the cap of course didn't work. Russian oil is selling at 80. So Russian oil is not the cheapest oil right now. The cheapest oil is actually Venezuelan oil, and so there is new license going to be given, and this reinforced the expectation of further opening up of the Venezuelan market. And so as a result, there are a lot of things is happening now in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. So according to this statement, this comment, the hotels are now full of traders that have flown in from Europe, India, and North America. So basically everybody is now rushing to buy Venezuelan oil. Especially I can imagine that the Europeans will be super interested because they have no good market. Everything is so expensive for them. They have to buy from the Americans, they buy from the Middle East, everything is at a premium. They can't buy from the Russians, and Indians definitely want a good deal. They will also come, and then of course the Americans come to take advantage of whatever they themselves have set for themselves. So everybody is going to try to buy Venezuelan oil, and Venezuela is also going to ramp up production. So this is the situation, and in fact, even on October 18, Biden administration actually also banned the American citizens from buying Venezuelan state bond. So this is also quite scary, which means that they are also going to open up debt, the buying of debt, and then this allows Venezuelan economy to grow. And this comes in a total contradiction of the actual situation down we are seeing with Venezuela and Guyana. So which means that despite the Americans are giving leeway to Venezuela, Venezuela is taking the advantage of the leeway and still continue to work against, or maybe it's against, maybe it's not, American interests. But of course, Americans play both sides. They have Guyana, they also have Venezuela. They can play both sides. They have no problem with it. Then the problem come back to the British, because then the British will have to decide, should they help to protect a Commonwealth country, or the Commonwealth basically becomes a total relic of the past, which the British Empire, the former British Empire, will not be able to do anything for any of the Commonwealth country. So this is actually quite serious. And if you look at the geopolitical situation, Venezuela is also good friends with Russia, with China. They are on this anti-West side of things. They have been benefiting due to this raising tension between the BRICS country and the West, and of course the sanctioning of Russia to basically open up opportunity for Venezuela. It's the same for Iran as well. Iran also have this brief this air to breathe because of Russia. The sanctioning of Russia basically reduce the sanction on Iran. We see this the same thing in Venezuela. So it's a very, very complex situation. If Venezuela attacks Guyana, would the Europeans support Guyana? Because they want the cheap oil. They cannot afford to keep buying from the expensive American oil. They can't buy from the Russians, and everything that they buy, third hand or second hand from the Russians, from the Indians, from Chinese or what, is all more expensive. The contract with the Middle East countries are also more expensive because they want priority shipments. So will they step in to stop Venezuela? That will be a very serious question, very difficult. And United Nations, can they act like they acted for Kuwait against Iraq? I doubt so, because there is China and Russia, within the Security Council. There's high chance they will block any military intervention from the United Nation level. So it's not going to work. In fact, even the Americans, I'm not even sure if they want to block it. They want to they want this military operation, and if they want to do the military operation, they could have done it themselves as well. So this could also be from a different perspective, the Americans setting a trap for Maduro to step in so that the Americans can do a military operation in Venezuela. That could also be possible. They open this trap, make Maduro feel overconfident. They try to do something funny with Guyana, and then Americans got the casus belli to send troops into Guyana, colonize Guyana with the US military bases, secure the oil in Guyana, attack into Venezuela, and then controls the oil in Venezuela and install a puppet government. That also would be possible. So the situation is very, very, very interesting. It's more interesting than the surface that we are reading on the mainstream media about simply Maduro trying to distract his people. He's greedy. They want the oil in Guyana, and then there might be a war going to start. It's more than that. There is a lot of geopolitical implications that comes into this, and which is also why I did not rush into reporting this, because I was waiting for this thing to develop a bit. I did saw the initial news about the Brazilian military was mobilizing to the border. War is like blooming between Venezuela and Guyana, but after a few days nothing happened. So so I don't like to rush into things, because we need a bit of time to digest and see what is exactly happening. War do not happen suddenly. There is always a build up to a war. So let me know what you think in the comment below. I know it's a bit dry. It can be a bit dry, and I'm super duper lazy to do editing. So let's see how this goes, and I'll see you in the next update.